We're back with another episode.
This episode of The Face Off with Fleming and Fowler is sponsored by MyApothecary.com. My Apothecary is the premier online destination for hemp-derived CBD that will help you curate a wealthy lifestyle. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed during the Face Off with Fleming and Fowler podcast series are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent any specific employer, organization, committee, or other group or individual. The primary purpose of this podcast series is to educate and inform. This podcast series does not constitute medical or other professional advice or services.
Beep.
That's so annoying.
Oh, I beep.
Yeah, just keep it on the down low and know what I'm supposed to know. First of all, we sound so nasally. We're like nasally twins today.
We sound. So today I was eating my bean and cheese taco and I turned to Audrey and I said, so I'm not going to be concerned that I can't taste this because I know I'm congested.
Oh my God.
But she was like, no, it's that. And I was like, no, I know. Because like I have drainage and my mucus is green. So like I know that's what it is because COVID would be lower respiratory. And
I'm sorry,
not
it's
losing.
green?
Yes, I think I have a sinus infection.
Yeah, I was going to say that's infection, babe. That's infection. Ew.
Yeah. And so I was like, I know that if I had COVID, it'd be lower respiratory.
Yeah.
And I'm not having trouble breathing for once. It's all up here. But I was like, but you know, when you just can't taste things randomly.
You automatically, it's COVID.
It's COVID.
But you're vaccinated.
Audrey looked at me and she goes, well, I'm vaccinated, so it's okay. I said, bitch, I'm vaccinated. Like,
I'm vaccinated, but I still can't taste anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm getting kind of over my nasaliness, which is good, but it's all just sitting up in my nose right now. So no fever. I'm not blowing my nose, haven't been sneezing. Good. So yeah.
What is high allergy-wise?
Probably mold or dander.
So when the I can't breathe, and I'm not having that much trouble. Well, I did have to do a treatment yesterday. So maybe
well, you know, it's still kind of been like, it's real humid, and then too, it's still been raining.
Yeah, it was my brother the other day was the one who was like, you cannot breathe. Go get the nebulizer.
Yeah. Do you take that when you travel?
The nebulizer?
Yeah.
No, I should though.
Oh, okay.
It's usually not that bad. It's Texas. That's bad. So when I leave, it's usually fine.
Yeah, everything is horrible.
Let's see. The tree pollen, moderate. Grass pollen, moderate. Ragweed, moderate. So what the fuck is making me sound like this?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Anyway, carry on.
All right. Well, welcome back again, you guys, to another episode of the Face Off with Fleming and Fowler. Fowler did you have a wonderful birthday? How was your birthday, man?
It was good. I took some time for me and my mental health.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's always good.
I think I like massages now.
Ooh, so you finally got one.
I finally got a massage.
Did you go to my massage therapist?
You would never let me go
I
to a
wouldn't.
massage
You're right.
therapist.
It was a trick. I wanted to make sure.
Yeah, no.
So this wouldn't be our last podcast.
I went to this very bougie place and got a very bougie massage and drank a bunch of champagne and green juice and lived my best life.
Did they touch your booty at all?
Did she touch my booty?
Oh, it was a girl.
It was a girl.
Oh. She touched my booty and I liked it.
Yep. I was carefully draped, so I don't even remember, and I was in and out of consciousness at all times.
That's how you know the massage is good.
It was good, dude. Like, it was good. But I realized how much I need to go back to the stretch zone because every time she would position me somewhere, I was like, whoo,
little weak hamstrings.
Just like even a turn, and even when I was getting waxed today, my hips were out, and I was like, dude, so tight everywhere.
You need to like just lay on like or get in front of like a couch or your bed or something and just like spread eagle or just like frog it. So like bending your knees and just let your body just hit the floor.
I can't.
But you have to slowly do it.
I really think, okay, my goal for
2021?
No, I think my goal for June.
Okay.
I'm going to really commit to the stretch zone. Like I want to
once a week or how many times
once or twice a week and see if it really changes anything. Because your girl walks around like freaking Freddie Monster. I'm tight.
You're really tight.
I don't know what this has to be like intergenerational trauma.
It's stored in your hips though.
Stored in my hips.
Yeah. Did your mom have really tight hamstrings?
I've never asked her, but
Oh. Yeah, I'm very like, even though I'm obese, I'm very flexible.
no, I fucking know you are. When we were at the stretch zone together, you had they brought my leg probably up to a like where an ottoman would be, like a normal height. I look across, this bitch has her leg behind her ears, basically. I was like, what the fuck?
My legs can move pretty well. I just keeping them up there. But a bump. Anyway, yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed your birthday.
Yes, no, it was really good, really relaxing. I, in those moments, realized that I think the life I want for myself is not one I can attain at this job.
Good self-awareness.
So either I need to make a move, or I need to find someone who's already made those moves for themselves and align with them legally.
Well, that sounds good.
Under the eye of the Lord.
Yeah, definitely. That sounds good. The sugar daddy who doesn't want any sugar. If you're looking for a sugar baby, but you don't want any sugar from her, DM us both, because I'm also looking as well.
I would need a sugar daddy who was like, just be mean to me, just be very sarcastic and rude to me, and I'll pay for your life.
That sounds like dominatrix or what is it, S&M?
Yeah, I want that, but I just want to be like, you're so fucking annoying. Leave me alone. Do you look like that all the time? Who even wants to be around you?
I would never give you my money if you talk to me like that. That's never a turn on.
I think it's a very specific kink, and I think people are into it, and I'm open and ready.
That's like the people who sniff draws, I guess. Interesting.
But yeah.
Not judging.
How was your week without me one day?
It was actually wonderful.
Oh, shut up.
Actually, no, it was horrible because you weren't here when this happened. My student that I have, sweet girl. All of us have been like super nasally. We don't know if it's something like a bug or something going around, or if it's just all of our allergies are just going crazy. Because some of us are vaccinated, some of us are not. And so on, I think it was Tuesday. Yeah, because your birthday was Tuesday.
What if it was all of us getting the flu? Like no one's getting COVID, but everyone's getting the flu. Yeah,
the flu's going back around now. Or the common cold. And so she basically... she felt like she had a little scratchy throat. She felt like she had a sinus infection. Everything was fine. We went to go evaluate one patient, went to the ICU, and we were myself and my coworker were in the middle of evaluating this one guy and showing both of our students how to mobilize and do a certain, technique. And all of a sudden she says, "Hey, I got to go sit down." And so I'm like, "Okay, go ahead and sit down." But the room that I'm in is across from the nurse's station. So she sits down and I could see her as I'm, slowly but surely getting my patient up. And every time I keep looking backward, I'm like, and keep looking at her, she's turning whiter and whiter and whiter. Mind you, she is a Caucasian girl. Okay.
She's already white.
She's already white, and she's like turning white as a sheet. And I'm like, I told my coworker, "Hey, can you secure the patient real quick? Let me just go out here and check on my student." I go out there. She's diaphoretic, like sweating, pouring sweat, pale, just like throws her head back. Is like, "Can I just lay on the floor? I'm gonna pass out." So we had to call a rapid response. And
get her a gurney.
Yeah, because I'm like, "Oh my God, this is my student. Like, what the hell is going on?" Like, I try to find her pulse. Her pulse was super like thready. I could barely feel anything, and I was like, her fucking pressures have dropped. Like, you cannot convince me she's not orthostatic right now. Mm-hmm. And we overhead page for the rapid response team to come. One of the nurses comes, and she's a nurse that used to work on that unit. And so I thought she quit, and I was like, "Hey girl, how you doing? What you doing back?" And she's like, "Yeah, no, bitch, I'm rapid." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." She's like, no, I'm here for the rapid response. And I'm like, "Oh, my student's right here. Here she goes."
As your student's dying in the background.
Exactly. So we had to take her to the ER, and they gave her fluids and stuff. And yeah, she doesn't have COVID. She got tested for COVID. She does not have COVID. I don't know if it's just if it's just allergies, or, a random common cold, the flu, whatever. But she, missed a couple days this week. So yeah, that was what happened on your birthday. It was
so
a
you're
shit
telling
show.
me, yeah, it's probably because I wasn't there, but
definitely,
I keep the whole department together.
Totally.
You're telling me that if I go to the ER, they can give me fluids?
Yes.
So if I'm feeling bad at work, I can walk myself down there.
I mean, they're going to charge you like $500 for it, but yeah, you can definitely get
with
fluids.
insurance. It's not $500. What's your copay for the ER? Like $100?
$100.
That's not worth it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You could just go steal the bag from the unit and just go stick yourself.
What nurse would start an IV on me?
Oh, a bunch of them.
Because all I really need is just to hang it up, right?
Yeah.
And then
listen, the director of the unit will go and start an IV on you and be like, "Don't tell nobody, just sit in here."
There's some days when I'm up there and I'm like,
how many people do we give free therapy to all the time?
That's
can
so
you tape me
true.
and blah blah blah. So if I can tape you and give you exercises, you should be able to start an IV on me, coworker.
Common courtesy.
Exactly. Definitely.
Yeah, that is wild.
Yeah, but
I've
she's
only
better
had
now.
that happen one time. I was in a room with the PT. No, I wasn't a student. I was a new therapist.
Yeah.
We had the lady on her side. It was hot in the room. We were wearing gowns. This lady had some stomach issue, so she was shitting every 15 seconds. And it was like this bright green bile color.
Ew.
She had a wound. And you know how the freaking wound care team loves to come in as soon as PT gets in the room. We're like, oh, perfect. Since you're already mobilizing, let me do all the shit that I need to do.
Right.
This lady wouldn't stop
Pooping?
detailing every single aspect of this wound.
Ugh.
And I don't know if it was because I hadn't eaten, if I was hot, if it was just, I don't know what, but I was like, I'm about to pass out.
That's insane.
I had to leave the room. I did not call rapid. I had some Swedish fish in my blood. Back up.
Swedish fish come in clutch every time. I actually don't like Swedish fish, but anyway, I mean, I've gotten to that point where I felt like dizzy at work, and then I just go sit down or I take my blood pressure. I've had coworkers who had a headache and they were sweating and their blood pressures were crazy high, and we've had to take them to the ER. I also had other therapists that have coded on the floor, where they're working.
Our patient coded on the way into work.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah. It's insane. Like, you literally are perfectly fine 1 minute and then you go into a cardiac arrest or something. But
it is nice to work at the hospital.
But here's the thing that I did hate though, and I don't know if this is just our particular hospital or if this is I'm quite sure this is every hospital, because 2 other hospitals that I've worked in have had the same rule. If you are an employee, if you are a visitor or anything, student, whatever, if you pass out for whatever reason, or you code, they cannot take vitals on you. They literally have to shove your half dead ass in a wheelchair and shove you down to the ER. Then the ER can do it, because if they even take a blood pressure on you, it's considered giving treatment, which I think is the dumbest fucking thing.
I'm sure that this came after like crazy litigation.
Oh, yeah.
That's the rule. But that is insane to me, especially if you think like in the ICU, it's harder, right? Because everyone's hooked up to tele. Mm-hmm. If you're just on a med floor, like how easy is it to throw a vitals machine at someone and be like, take my pressure?
Exactly.
And you can't.
Right. And because we were in the ICU, I'm like, the blood pressure machines are in the rooms with the patient. Like, it's the computer that sits on the wall. So you can't just take that out and do somebody's blood pressure like that. So we didn't even have them on the floor. But I'm just like, God forbid a coworker starts coding, you better fucking do CPR. You're a first responder.
Yeah.
So if you don't do that, I'm going to sue you for not doing it. I mean, preferably I survive, but I'm just saying.
I think it's those crappy people, right? Like, you pass out in the middle of an ICU, people start performing CPR, and then you can sue them
for breaking your ribs. Yeah.
Because you were not admitted into the hospital.
Yeah. Because even the doctors, like, they had just done rounds. So the rounds was right there. And they were like, what's going on? And I was like, my student started just getting diaphoretic. And she's like pale, and she's, she was crying. She was like, I'm so sorry, but I just feel like I'm going to pass out. And I was like, stop apologizing. Like, you can't prevent yourself from passing out.
Feeling.
She said she was so embarrassed. And I hate that she felt embarrassed. But I'm like, listen, I cannot tell you how many times that happens with people at this hospital, people that literally, this one lady, remember that one lady, she made it to the news too. Her daughter was on ECMO. She was, I think, like in her 80s or 70s, 80s or something like that. Her daughter was on ECMO because she was a cardiac arrest in the community. The mother came in to visit her. And while she was sitting, like she was in the hospital, she didn't feel right. The nurses put her in a wheelchair. She ended up having a heart attack and had to go on ECMO. No, I lied. Her daughter had a knee replacement or something and came to visit her. And the mom ended up having a heart attack and had to go on ECMO. And she survived it.
I'm telling you, this is why I love working in the hospital.
Yeah.
Because I know if shit pops off with me, someone will roll my body to the ER.
Yeah. Hopefully in time.
Hopefully in time. But it's going to be a lot faster than if I worked at fucking... anywhere else.
Hey, that's very true. That's very true. So yeah, but she's better now, which is good. She was at work today, and we did fine.
Good. Glad to hear it.
Yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and get into it. First of all, let's talk about amazing
about sex, baby.
Okay,
let's talk about you.
Let's talk about equity, right? So
what the fuck?
Zendaya, ever heard of her?
Oh my God, a queen. First of all, eyebrow goals. Period. Point blank.
Yeah, she's very thick eyebrows.
Second of all, I don't have the self-control she does. Like, she'll post on Instagram once every fucking 3 weeks and be like, oh hey, I'm still alive, this is my life.
Yeah.
How?
Because she's actually busy.
Because she's actually busy doing cool shit, probably.
Yeah, and she doesn't have a schedule.
Jealous. She's so beautiful.
She doesn't have a clock in at a toxic job like we do.
She doesn't have a 9 to 5.
Right. So Zendaya is just a boss, and she basically gave everyone or her entire film crew at least a 1% equity in her film Malcolm and Marie. that they would basically earn as a bonus, when the movie sold. So she ended up selling the movie to Netflix for $30 million,
Smart move.
an estimated $30 million. And so basically, when you calculate that down, this is not my calculation because I don't do math, but each crew member pretty much made at least $300,000 from the deal from their equity points. And I'm just like, what other amazing person would do something like that?
Michael B. Jordan.
When did he do that for real?
No, but he does his inclusion writer now for everybody.
What is that?
He started the first production company with an inclusion writer that says like, this amount of people have to be of color. These many people have to be women.
Oh yeah,
these many
Regina King
people-
does that too.
Yeah, all
Not
that kind of shit.
Regina King? Regina King. Regina King. Yes, Regina King. Because I'm confusing her with the other Regina. Regina, what's the other Regina's name? The comedian Regina. Oh, sweet
Regina
Lamb of
King
God.
and Regina. Why is this happening to me?
Yes, but it's Regina King because she played on 227. Yeah, what is her name? Regina G. Whiz.
This is gonna piss George. No.
No.
Regina.
Regina Hall, yes, but Regina King, she also did the same thing. And even what's her name? I'm calling her Meredith. Ellen Pompeo.
Yeah.
She also too refuses to be on certain sets where there's not diversity and inclusion.
Yeah. So I think he was just
Take that, corporate America.
the first. His middle name is Bakari. Wow.
That's why he calls himself B. Anyway,
Wow.
could you imagine his name was just Bakari Jordan? That's so weird.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, but anyway,
But yeah. First of all, I want to see them in a movie together. But
Michael B.
whatever.
Jordan is that? No, Malcolm. Listen, Denzel's son. Okay, what's his name again?
John David.
John David. John David and Zendaya. You can't tell me they're not a real couple. They are a real dysfunctional family. You can't tell me otherwise.
Listen, I love toxicity and that movie did it for me. Holy shit. And she carried the movie 100%, but
What?
you don't think she carried that
Hell
movie?
no. They both equally, for pound, stood on the backs and the shoulders of each other.
He was,
He was just as, they were both perfect. I don't think any one of them trumped the other. They were honestly perfect in both of their roles. No one else could have done
he was
that.
so good at being a likable asshole.
Yes.
And she was so good at being a
Dysfunctional,
like
depressed
scorned lover, still
Yes.
in love, working. I don't know.
Absolutely.
Man.
It was as toxic as that crap was. It was amazing
but
acting.
That's when you know it's good. It's so toxic that you're disgusted with it because
Yeah.
it's so realistic and they played it so well.
But the fact that there was no real extra plot other than them just going ham at each other with emotion, like that was just real rap raw in front of your face. So they just both are amazing actors. But also too,
That's
recently,
dope as fuck though.
yeah, definitely. I wish that's amazing.
My
Give
thing
people
is,
percentages.
Give people percentages. Everyone's gonna work their ass off to
Yeah.
make sure it's the best thing it can be. If they
Absolutely.
know they're gonna have
Because they have a
portion
piece of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be there. So they want it to succeed so they can keep getting that equity.
If I knew that I had equity in the hospital, I would be given insane amounts of patient care.
I mean, we do it now for free.
We do, but I think I would be like delivering plates of food and wiping
Nah.
the floor and doing some crazy shit.
Nah, definitely not. I'd be hiding under everybody else. Definitely. Absolutely.
Okay.
All right. Also, too, in the news, first of all, I think this is an amazing story. Felicia Rashad, ever heard of her?
Felicia
Claire
Rashad, Felicia
Huxtable
Rashad,
from,
Felicia- you mean
The Cosby
my
Show?
favorite sitcom mother of all time.
She is amazing. I love everything about her, Debbie Allen, just everything about those sisters. They're amazing. So here's the thing of what she's doing. You think she's just a phenomenal Tony-winning actress. Haha, no, she's adding to her resume now. She was just announced as Howard University's dean of the newly reestablished College of Fine Arts. Howard University is a historically black college or black university. And actually, I kind of hate Howard just because I'm from FAMU and I graduated from FAMU. So we have this big rivalry, right, between Howard and FAMU. However, because I am an HBCU grad, I can talk trash about Howard. PWI goers, you cannot. You speak Howard's name evilly, you're going to get it. Okay, because I will rock Bison when we're not rivals against each other. But anyway, I still think this is an amazing situation that she, as amazing as she is as an actress, to be able to then lend her talents to the next generations that are coming and to take over as the dean of fine arts. Like, tell me that's not a full circle moment, because she went to Howard.
That's so dope.
Her and Debbie Allen literally graduated from Howard. Not only did they graduate from Howard, But they were, they still are giving back to Howard, because even Chadwick Boseman, when he went there, he did not have money to go to Howard.
Denzel paid for his
literally but it was Denzel and Felicia Rashad that paid for. There was a number of students that went through the fine arts program there, and they paid for them. So it's literally like a full circle moment. And even on the backs of that, one of the buildings is now going to be named after Chadwick Boseman.
As it should.
Yeah.
I can't wait to have enough money to donate to colleges to get tax write-offs. Ugh.
Well, that's true. I mean, first of all, I would love I would just change my major just to be able to have her as a teacher.
100%.
Like,
are you kidding me? Like, oh my God, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. Cause even I remember at FAM, you know the group Kid and Play, right? Mm-hmm. You don't sound convinced.
You don't sound convinced. I don't sound convincing. I would let you tell me, because I just,
You are you're a horrible liar. Good God Almighty. You remember House Party, right?
Oh,
the movie?
Yeah,
okay. Kid and Play. Kid was the one.
Oh, with the flat top.
Yes, absolutely. So Play, who's the darker skin with the shorter high top, he actually was a professor at FAMU.
Really?
Yeah. And people took his class. I don't know if it was boring or if it was great, but I just thought it was great for the culture, for him to have basically helped raise a generation of kids. And then now you're coming back as a professor and people are seeing you in a totally different light. But then we can still turn on this movie, or it comes on BET every other month anyway. And we can still see you in your prime, being this really amazing rapper and stuff. So I think it was super, super awesome. So shouts out to Felicia Rashad. Shouts out to Howard for scoring that absolutely amazing gem to be able to have that full circle moment. I think that's like absolutely awesome. Also in the news, Black Lives Matter co-founder and executive director Patrisse Cullors, we talked about her on a couple of episodes ago with regard to the fact that it came out of the news that she was allegedly misappropriating funds within the organization and buying lavish houses. Exactly. But my thing, she used her notoriety to have other streams of income. Is that not the same thing? Exactly. So she's
That's what Kim K did.
She sure did. So she actually is stepping down as in her executive director role. I think she's still going to remain as the co-founder and, legal documentation and stuff like that. But she actually just did a video where she said that she's stepping down from her role to make room for a new generation of leadership and to focus on her own television and book deal. She said, and I quote, "With smart, experienced, and committed people supporting the organization during this transition, I know that Black Lives Matter Global Network Fund is in good hands."
She said, I said what I said. I did what I did.
And she also said, in quote, "The foundation's agenda remains the same: eradicate white supremacy and build life-affirming institutions," which I think to her situation, I think it's a good thing that I hate that she has to that she feels that she needs to, or that she wants to step down. But at the same time, I totally get it, because the message of the purpose of Black Lives Matter movement in the beginning is being lost in translation with this sideshow of how she decides to spend her money, which is so stupid. And if no lawsuit has come out about where any of the co-founders are suing her for misappropriation of funds, we really shouldn't be talking about it.
At this point, she's probably like, listen, I'm making more money doing all this other bullshit than I am over here. I know what the message of this is, and I want that to keep going on. And if this is going to keep getting in the way, then I'm going to be out with my 7 houses.
Absolutely.
And bye.
I don't blame her. I don't blame her. I would do the same thing.
People ruin everything.
They really do. It's just like, just be a good person. Anyway,
this isn't like, how when people get their financial aid check and then they have like a new Gucci belt, or they're just like balling out at the club or something.
Are you getting Chipotle every night?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm Absolutely. Like, that's what this is giving to me. It's not like she's doing that shit. No. Like,
like literally she's getting deals. Like, you may see the other two young ladies
booked and busy.
Right. You may see the other young ladies in the forefront, but she's behind the scenes getting the bag. So for herself and for the organization. So, but yeah, it's insane. All right, let's just take a quick break and we'll be right back. This episode of The Face Off with Fleming and Fowler is sponsored by myapothecary.com. My Apothecary is the premier online destination for hemp-derived CBD that will help you curate a wealthy lifestyle.
CBD is one of many restorative compounds found in the cannabis plant. Its benefits include decreased pain, improved mood, decreased anxiety, and much more. Some of y'all know that I have crazy ADHD, so I'm heavily medicated at all times, and I've been taking CBD oil at night to kind of calm me down, get me ready for bed. 10/10 would recommend.
Worried about regulations? The passing of the 2018 Farm Bill made hemp-derived CBD legal to sell and consume. So yes, CBD is 100% legal and perfect for every person of legal age. My Apothecary's featured line, Broad Bloom, offers broad-spectrum CBD oil drops, sports cream, and soft gels. These products have no THC, so you can stay fly without the high or zen without the spin. Shop now at www.myapothecary.com and sign up for their newsletter to get exclusive offers, product releases, and CBD news.
Remember to always check with your healthcare provider before consuming any supplement. You must be 21 to purchase and consume, and shipping is only available in the US of A.
Don't forget to shop at www.myapothecary.com. Also too, so here's the thing that I want to talk about. I want to talk about a very controversial subject, or maybe it's controversial just for me.
No thanks.
So recently, Jay-Z's mom, as well as Master P, received
She's not. They're not brothers.
No. I'm saying that this was two separate situations. That happened.
You are saying Jay-Z's mom, comma.
Yeah, Jay-Z's mom, comma, Master P, comma, and Charlemagne the God.
Charlemagne
within the last 2 months have all received honorary doctorate degrees from universities because they were commencement speakers, different things like that, different things that they've done in the community, all that kind of stuff. So the universities have basically gifted them with this honorary doctorate. Here's what I have a problem with honorary doctorates. I think honorary doctorates are the most disrespectful thing you can ever give to someone. And let me tell you why. Take a walk with me. Okay.
I'm here.
I personally have a doctorate degree in physical therapy, right? And really, you really had to do that. I mean, the way I feel about it, if I can give it back, I definitely would, along with the debt. But my thing is this. I get it. It's a great gesture. And, people are like, oh, call me Dr. Charlemagne, call me Dr. Master P, and blah, 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 and all this bullshit, right? Here's what I think is so insulting. When you are actively in whatever program you are in pursuing a doctorate degree, there are a lot of things that you have to do. There's a lot of classes that you have to take. There are a lot of late nights, early mornings. You don't get to see your family.
Depression, anxiety.
Yes. Drug use. And for me, I'm talking about like Tylenol and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But CBD, weed smoking, whatever you got to do to get to your program. I mean, people.
Uppers, downers.
Right. Some people literally take years to write their dissertation and to submit it, getting rejected, getting their dissertation even accepted. It takes so much back-breaking work, blood, sweat, and tears. And for these universities to give honorary doctorates, to me, is just so disrespectful to the people who work their asses off to get these fucking things in their respective positions.
When did this start? When did it become hip to give all these people honorary doctorate?
I think when they started like not wanting to give the people money to come and speak, and they're just like, here's a token of a little stupid little certificate that we printed off of, clip art and just put your name in it. So I think it's become that, but I'm just like, you don't get a doctorate degree just because you came and spoke somewhere. Like, that's stupid.
Yes.
I just don't like here.
I see why you're so
passionate.
Passionate. I was gonna say excited. Oh. Passionate about it because you do have a doctorate. I'm chilling over here with my 6 months less of school and my master's degree, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. But yeah, that's annoying. I just don't understand when it all started, when it got so cool, why we're giving them all away. Can't you just be like, here's your plaque for doing this? Like,
exactly. Like, thank you. Here's a bottle of champagne and some flowers. Thank you for coming.
It's insane to me to be like, here is this piece of paper that all of these other people who are in massive debt and have spent years studying for, and yours
and perfecting a skill set,
and we're gonna call yours the same.
Yeah, I just don't appreciate that, and I don't think it's cute for anybody to be like even when Waka Flocka got his a couple months ago, and people were like, oh, he's Dr. Walker. Shut the fuck up. Shut up.
You're salty.
I don't give it. I'm not salty. I'm irritated at that because people go
no one
through.
Calls you doctor?
No, people actually do call me doctor in the hospital, and I just tell them to call me Monica because they don't acknowledge the word doctor in the hospital, which is insane, but it's totally fine. Even pharmacists, they don't call pharmacists doctors in clinical settings. They don't. Even certain, like doctors of philosophy, people who get PhDs are looked at more as doctors than having a clinical doctor, which I think is insane.
Doctors are MDs, DOs, and like PhDs in a didactic setting.
Right. But then people who also earn clinical doctorates who literally
We
have
ain't calling you
doctoral degree.
doctor. That's too confusing
It
because
makes
there's
no
real
sense.
doctors.
See, but that's disrespectful for you to say I am a fucking real doctor.
You have a doctorate.
Right, which means
when
I'm a doctor.
But when I say doctor, I'm referring to doctor of
Well,
medicine.
you need to say that. You need to say, well, I'm saying a medical doctor who can actually diagnose and all of that. But when you
Yes.
discredit someone else's doctorate to say, well, you're not a real doctor. A doctor of education is not a real fucking doctor. A doctor of philosophy is not a real fucking doctor.
Now I'm here with you on that.
See what I'm saying? A
Not
doctor of
real
psychology is not a real doctor.
Well-
Nobody else. Doctor of psychology? Psychiatry, yes, because you have an MD. But if you do not practice medicine as an MD or a DO, you are not a real doctor, quote unquote, according to
Quote,
people who
in
say
the-
stuff like that.
In the zeitgeist, in the culture, they would say.
Right.
that.
But I think it's disrespectful to discredit anybody who has earned a doctorate degree, even lawyers. You get a Juris Doctorate.
But I guess that's this whole thing, right? Like med schools don't give honorary MDs.
Hell no.
Or DOs.
You know how many people that kill-
But we'll give you an honorary PhD doctorate.
Yeah, which is so dumb because it's almost like having monopoly money.
And it almost lessens
Thank
the
you.
doctorate, I would say.
Because you're giving them out at not like just on a whim because this person came and spoke at your dumbass school.
Well, it's like you working hard at a job for 20 years and then the boss's son getting the promotion you thought you wanted.
Exactly.
That's never done
And
your
put in
job
none of the work.
just because he showed up.
Yeah. Now, see, if it was like a dying kid on like Make a Wish and like, oh, I've always wanted to win a Super Bowl, that's appropriate.
I've always wanted to speak at a commencement and earn
give him
an
the fucking
honorary doctorate.
Give him the goddamn Super Bowl ring, but you are not getting a check, little Billy. You're not, okay? You won't be able to take a team picture. You'll take a picture by yourself. But I just think it is so incredibly offensive. And maybe I'm the only person who thinks that. Other people with doctorate degrees, or even if you don't have a doctorate degree, if you think it's disrespectful
if you can
and
imagine
offensive,
yourself having a doctorate degree.
listen, having a doctorate degree is not all it's correct to be, because I promise you, I wish I can get this bullshit back. But anyway, let us know in the comments if you feel like it is a slap in the face for everybody who has gone through gone through a doctoral program and earned that doctorate, and they're just giving these shits away. Because even one of my friends now, I've been friends with this young lady since high school, and she is still in school working on her PhD in psychology.
Because
she's still working
is a
on her
whole nother animal.
and you mean to tell me you just gonna come up here and put on a raggedy ass robe and be like, I'm a doctor? If you don't sit your goofy ass down some damn where.
Yeah.
Oh
I don't
my
think
God.
I would go back to get my doctorate, but if I was so compelled, I would go get a PhD.
Yeah.
Not an OT and something else.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't make any more money with an OTD. And even piggybacking on that, I heard some of our coworkers, idiots. Anyway, overheard some of our coworkers talking earlier this week about the fact that they thought that it was pointless for PTs to even have a doctorate degree. And of course, these are people who don't have doctorate degrees. And was just like, well, yeah, I mean, I don't think it's really anything extra and blah, blah, blah. And you don't get paid any extra money and all this other kind of stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I totally get that, what you're saying. However, ma'am, sirs,
You can't speak on it if you don't. I
If
mean,
you
you
don't
can speak on it respectfully if you don't have a doctorate.
yeah, but don't be a bitch about it and say, well, I think it's pointless because you don't have it and you don't even know the use of it. And if you haven't gone through the program, then shut your mouth. But even there was one guy who did go through a doctorate program, and I'm like, maybe your program was just shitty.
Yeah, I don't think it's pointless. I think can you do our job with a bachelor's degree in training?
Absolutely.
Yes. Can you do our job with a master's degree?
Absolutely.
Yes, but because of the way our discipline is, and because of the way medicine moves, and because of all the research and shit
And growth.
and honestly just because they're trying to make it harder and harder to become, and we're getting more popular, and colleges now know they can capitalize on education.
Well, and the market's getting oversaturated too.
Right, so they're going to keep pushing.
Yeah.
But you have to be able to do those higher level things like dissect
Yeah.
articles and read research, and I don't know how I'm trying to say this. Your discipline only progresses positively when you have people in it who are very dedicated and
Yeah.
passionate and things like that.
Absolutely.
So I think there is this mindset that, if you're willing to spend 10 years of your life studying this and spending all this money, then
Yeah.
you're going to be a great practitioner when you get out.
Right.
So no, I don't think you need a doctorate to do this job, but I think because of the way everything else is, and you need doctorates for all these other medical
Right.
professions, That's just where the fuck we are.
Exactly. And the thing is too, I think it is necessary, even though we can do it without it. I think it is necessary because it also helps with the pay scale. You are an expert in your field.
Yeah.
Why not have the highest degree that you possibly can when you're working as an expert? That's
Especially
literally what the
now when
fuck
a
you're supposed to
bachelor's
be.
ain't shit.
Right. Nobody, even Officer Kim Possible has a master's degree as a police officer. Because a bachelor's is worth nothing.
Nothing anymore.
Even in criminal justice, most of the football teams be like, I got a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. And then do shit with it. My sister has a bachelor's degree in criminal justice.
And
ask me, has she done anything with it? No.
And that is, I think, the generation before us, right? Everyone was like, you have to go to college. Everyone has to go to college. There's nothing you can do without it. You'll never have a job. We're going to push you. We wanted to go, or we didn't get to go, or we didn't do it the way we wanted to. Everyone's going to college. So great. We've now oversaturated the fucking market with bachelor's degrees.
Yes.
So you know what my ass had to do is fucking push 3 more years to go get a master's. And you know what they told me? As soon as I got into school, good thing you're doing this now, because in the next 5 years, your ass is going to need a doctorate, which is $40,000 more.
Absolutely. And two, the pay scale should match the level of education you have.
But it fucking doesn't.
It doesn't.
That was my first question. I said, if I get this because you have this gap period, right? When you're in school, your first couple of months, where they say you can switch to the program, but not after this time.
Right.
So I asked a lot of people, will my pay differ when I get out of school if I have a doctorate versus a master's? And they said, absolutely not.
Because the field of medicine operates based off years of experience. You have to have the degree to get in the door, period. So you're not special because you have the doctorate. You need at least a bachelor's to get into the door, or even an associate's to be able to, for those people who are still practicing. But the reality is that the way that the field of medicine works is based off years of experience. Whereas in non-medical sectors, it's not about your years of experience. It's about your level of education. So the more degrees you get, when you have, the more versatile you are, and the more profitable you are at the same time. But with regard to our field, I mean, even too in these courses, like some people who have taken who have a master's in PT, some of them haven't taken radiology classes. Some of them haven't done the research part. Some of them haven't done some of these other things. And then you have people who, one of our coworkers right now, he is in his 50s, I think early 50s. He graduated when physical therapy was a master's degree, or was it a bachelor's? I think it was a bachelor's degree. He went back for his doctoral degree. We don't know the reason why he did it. Obviously, he wasn't going to make any more. He probably was already capped out anyway at his salary, because he's been a therapist for so long. But at the same time, who's to say that he's not thinking about the future? Like, listen, I may want to go into teaching because I know my body is not going to last lifting these people when I'm 60 and 70 years old. Like, that's not going to work.
And I will say that is a good idea, because then you can just teach.
Exactly. You can go into teaching. You can go in so many different areas. You can own a business, all that stuff. So I'm just like, for even therapists who, again, to make that comment and say, well, I just think it's pointless to you don't even need it. I'm sorry. You're speaking like a person who doesn't have one already. And maybe because you don't do shit with your raggedy ass degree, don't mean that the rest of us don't do the ass because you're a shitty therapist. The thing,
you do need it, because you can't fucking be a therapist without it.
Exactly.
Is it 100% necessary? No, you can do this job. That's why it's years of experience.
Exactly. Because the more years of experience you have, it should set you apart from a new grad.
Yeah, but and it is shitty, right? Like, you have this very expensive piece of paper that you slaved over.
Yeah.
But you know what those letters behind your name tell people is like, hey, I'm fucking smart, and I know what I'm talking about.
And I'm at the top of my field.
At the top of my field. I've studied for a long time to know this information that I'm telling you, so fucking respect it.
Exactly.
Anyway, yeah. Will I go get a doctorate? Probably not.
Do I wish I could trade mine in? Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't know. And then it's weird when I talk to people who have regular jobs that aren't fucking miserable in the hospital. They're like, what? Or they're thinking about getting a master's or going to grad school or whatever. They're just like, I just can't believe you did that. That's so cool. It's hard work. And I'm just like, that's regular ass shit. And I forget it's not.
It's really not.
There's a lot of jobs out there that you don't need to fucking go spend all this money and get a degree on.
Yeah, we definitely got duped.
Yeah,
In the
especially
grand
when
scheme
I
of
see,
things.
like my brother was taking HVAC in
Yeah.
high school, and I see now all these technicians, all these things that they have. These,
Girl, yeah.
These HVAC technicians are making $100,000.
Yes, they are.
And it's on the job training that they pay you
Plumbers.
for. You come straight in, you know nothing about the machines.
Yep.
They teach you everything you need to know. You're making $100,000.
And you're a business owner.
Yep.
So you make the time frame, you set the prices. There is no such thing as inflation when it comes to certain things like supply and demand. Like it's just not. I mean in a grocery store, yes, but when you're talking about goods and services, especially these trades, these HVAC people can charge you whatever they want to. Even plumbers. The fact that we had a whole snow apocalypse here in Texas,
Oh, they're making money.
them goddamn plumbers probably are still making bank.
Yep.
Those, carpenters are still making bank because they're coming in and charging everything. The price of wood done went up, gas done went up. I mean, literally, why are we not pushing trades anymore at this point?
I feel like the only difference between me starting my career after having a master's and my friends who started with their bachelors is I started at a higher salary. Right. But I also am at a fuck ton more debt.
Yeah. And you were in school a little bit longer too.
Exactly.
So, and you had to take more classes, even if you were in school the same amount of time.
Possibly if I had just gotten a job out of undergrad and started working, I would maybe be at my salary that I started at anyway.
Yeah. We'd have been duped.
They done got
Needless to say. All right. Also in the news, recently, there's been some issues that's been going on with the NBA. And particularly this past week with Russell Westbrook.
Always something with Russell Westbrook.
Well, but also too, with one of the other players, the Atlanta Hawks player, Trae Young. So people were basically, Russell Westbrook.
That's racist.
They're both black. Russell
Westbrook. Oh my God.
Thank you. It's weird. It's anyway. He basically was leaving the court because they were going to go check him out because he kind of had some small injury or whatever. And as he's walking back to the locker room, all of a sudden all this popcorn just falls on his head and a fan literally throws all this popcorn on him. And I'm just like,
first of all, what you're not about to do is throw some buttery ass shit on my face when you know I will break out. Fuck that.
But not even that. It's disrespectful for you to sit here and throw anything at a professional who is at their fucking job.
I mean, yeah, that too. But buttered popcorn, you got me fucked
But what
up.
if you would have put we're in a pandemic. That's nasty.
Also, I forgot because we've been inside for a year that people just don't know how to fucking act.
They don't. And they should be punched in the face.
That is disgusting to me. First of all, how dare you?
I just think people take sports way too far. Sports is supposed to be a fun, collaborative effort where you can come together, trash talk each other, but still be good friends at the end. And even
because most of them are.
Right. And the thing is, like, they're in a competition. When you're in a competition, you can't be friendly. But when you start, because even with the Atlanta Hawks player, Trae Young, a fan literally spit on him.
No.
I would have knocked your whole face off of your neck.
Patients do some wild ass shit to us. Can you imagine if I fucking dumped some Jello on them?
Oh, I've had a patient try to spit on me. I definitely.
But I'm like,
one.
These people are at work, right? And their job is very high. It's in high intensity.
Yes.
Like emotions are fucking high. But no, you can't know.
Yeah. And
You're there as a fit. Be fucking respectful.
To me, honestly, throwing stuff at a football player, basketball player, hockey, whatever, at professional athlete, if you throw anything at them except for a teddy bear and flowers, that should be considered a hate crime. What I say? Yeah, I know. I'm just saying. Or unless you want to throw your drawers at the people, you can throw your drawers at them. Or your bra, But I think it should be considered a hate crime. Like, you should not be throwing shit at people who are at fucking work because it's a game. You literally, the fuck was that? My neighbor, I swear to God, this man cuts grass at like 9 fucking o'clock at night.
It's the best time to do it.
Jesus.
Here's my thing. I understand that it's a highly passionate thing, sports, right? But you're not the one fucking playing.
No, you're not.
And I get that emotions are running high and you're excited, but if anyone's throwing anything at anyone, it should be the fucking players themselves because they're out there.
Exactly.
You need to chill. You're probably fucked up, Chad in the crowd.
Right.
And you need to sit your ass at home if that's how you act when you drink a little too much.
Seriously, like you should be arrested for that and you should be charged.
I don't know. I really have never liked that. I don't even like heckle. Like a good heckle, okay, like
Yeah.
whatever. But when it gets obnoxious, I'm just like, will you stop?
It's just too much. So also too, basically what happened in the news this week too, the last thing we're gonna talk about is Walmart apparently had some shit going on where Walmart allegedly, someone that hacked them, whatever, allegedly sent out these notifications with these racial slurs that was like, welcome to Walmart, niggers. And I said nigger, not nigga. Like nigger, hard ERS. And of course, Walmart, their company denied doing this. They said that somebody must have been making a fake account because, scammers
somebody
can do
must
that.
have just logged in and made a
Somebody
fake
logged
account.
into
My
all
thing
of Walmart.
Do you think it was a white person, like a Karen, who just has a vendetta? Or do you think it was a black person who was like, I'm going to stir some shit up because fuck Walmart?
Probably both. They were probably both there together.
They're both there.
Because there's a lot of black people that do tech that
Yeah.
people are not aware of, but I
Like,
definitely think it's
the white person was like, hey, niggas. And then the black person was like, delete that, send it.
yeah.
We're going to really piss them
'Cause
off
Walmart
today.
is
Maybe
already
it was a
like-
1-2 punch.
Yeah.
If this was Target, it would have been a whole thing.
Oh yeah, because Target got Black Lives Matter stuff all in there. So
Target
Twitter
would have been like, we are aboard. We have donated
forbid it.
$6 million to the Black Lives
would
Matter
never.
movement. We now have a black only restroom, and it is the best restroom in all of the Target.
and to show our solidarity, we stand with you, niggers. They would not say that. Target would never. They
would not.
never.
No.
They would never. All
Walmart
right.
was just like, it wasn't us.
Exactly. All right. So what are we watching?
Okay,
Or
I
what's
just
going on
watched.
social media? Either way.
What
Sorry.
do you want from me?
Sorry.
You're pulling me in different directions here.
I'm sorry. Whatever you want. Whatever
Social
you want.
media. Kanye is dating someone new. Are you interested?
Is he divorced yet?
He is not. I don't think they're officially divorced. They are separated. Kim's pretending she doesn't care. I know she does. He is allegedly dating that Irina model chick. What the hell's her last name? The one who was Bradley Cooper's baby mama / wife.
You know what Kanye West needs to do? Here's Kanye
Irina
West. If you're
Shayk.
who?
Shaq, the model.
Oh.
She's like a millionaire model. This
Kanye
lady-
West. Oh, she's beautiful.
Yeah.
Kanye West, here's what I need you to do. You've been lost for a long time in the sauce of the Kardashians. I need you to go and get with a black girl who has a black family so you can just immerse yourself back into your black side and kind of get your mind together. And
Blacker
then,
than Amber Rose, because that didn't work out.
Amber Rose is not. Listen, no, I'm sorry. No. I'm talking about the girl that he was with when his jaw was broke. Like from the very beginning, okay, when he couldn't even open his mouth, okay, his jaw was wired shut. I need you to go back to that
Cypress
black young
with
lady.
Yeezy for his mouth.
Yes,
wired,
I just need you to go back to your black roots and figure some stuff out.
Take some
for yourself.
time. Live in Chicago. Immerse.
Seriously, get to know Kanye.
I also really loved the album you made when you were secluded in Hawaii. So if Hawaii's a spot for you and we can get some music out of it, I'm down for
I
that
haven't
too.
listened to his music since 808 and Heartbreak.
Okay.
Yeah,
I understand it. I don't, okay. Anyway.
yeah. What else has been going on?
J. Cole is now playing basketball in Rwanda, question mark?
I just think that that's amazing. So I'm assuming he has does he have citizenship there?
I don't know. Here's my thing. This is everyone's dream, right? Like, I feel like typical black boy story. I want to be a freaking pro basketball player. Doesn't work out. I'm pretty good at rapping. I'm going to be a rapper. I'm going to get so good at it. I make enough money to then make myself a pro basketball player.
I just didn't know Rwanda had a basketball team.
I didn't either, and I don't know who they play or what the deal is or how we can watch him on TV. I feel like I'll have to pay-per-view that. Will all the games be in Africa? Is this like when people go play in Spain for a while because they're not good enough for the NBA?
Exactly.
Very confused. Like, what is Rwandan basketball like? I've never been to Rwanda.
Well, he just like bought them all like new uniforms and all that kind of stuff, which I thought was a very nice gesture.
That speaks mountains to me.
Yeah.
About the caliber we're at.
I wonder if he has some kind of like Rwandan roots, and maybe that's him going back to the motherland. Yeah, but I wonder if like this is kind of like a soul searching kind of thing. So for him to go specifically to Rwanda, do you
think it was specifically him going to Rwanda, or Rwanda was the only team that he knew he could get on by buying them all new uniforms?
I think J. Cole, as conscious as he is, I definitely think that was a conscious decision for him to choose that particular country. Or is Rwanda a country? Is it a state?
Hey Siri.
I'm gonna just say a country. I'm gonna say it's a country.
Hey Siri. Siri is shady tonight. It's because I'm
Yeah.
gonna ask her about Africa. She don't care.
She's a racist bitch.
Rwanda is probably as close as we'll get to Wakanda. So maybe he's trying to do something there.
I think Nigeria, honestly, to me, would be closest to Wakanda.
Have you ever been?
No, but I know a lot of Nigerians, and the way they talk about Nigeria and the pictures and videos that I see, to me, I feel like Nigeria is probably one of the most progressive
It's a country.
countries. Yeah, it's a country. I figured that. But yeah, I think I would say Nigeria, or maybe even Ghana too, are like one of the most progressive, countries in Africa. I would say maybe.
I need a pilgrimage.
I would love to go to Nigeria.
I think I'm gonna do 23andMe and find out how African I am, and then go there.
Go to those places.
Yeah.
You just have to be very cognizant of.
No, I refuse.
Okay. All right. When you come back with some roots on you, don't say I didn't warn you. Because that's their religion. That's literally like, people think like voodoo is this horrible thing, and it can be, but if you use it incorrectly, right? Like you can. Voodoo
Hey,
is
for
a
every
religion.
light, there's dark. you know?
Exactly. So what else is going on? I think that's
Don't
amazing
know
for
how
him to
you
be able
do
to
the voodoo that you do.
to tie his roots back to going back to Rwanda. That's awesome.
That is dope. I want to know.
How hot is it there?
You know,
Ooh.
Cool Runnings. I don't know why Cool Runnings is the image I get, but like basketball version.
They're definitely Jamaican.
I
But
know
okay.
they're Jamaican, but what is this gonna be like? I need to watch him play. I need to know what this is. Should
Does
we
he
go to a
have-
game?
I was gonna say, does he even have any hoops? Hoops? What is it?
He has hops. He played basketball. He's
Yeah?
huge.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, he's huge
Well,
and
that's just like even,
homophobic. So he's
Master
definitely
P.
a basketball player.
That's even Master P. He's always wanted to be in the NBA, and then he got a chance to go like play a couple games in the NBA at one point. So
Didn't work out. So you know what? Props to you, J. Cole. If anything else, you're bringing fucking publicity to
yeah.
the Rwandan basketball
and
team.
Rwanda, I mean, Rwanda is a country of beautiful people who unfortunately went through, one of the most terrible
Horrible
genocides. I think in history. Jesus, not even just African history, just world history. So the yeah, shouts out to him.
We'll leave you with that.
Yeah,
What am I watching? What are you watching?
I have not. So, what's the last movie I saw? Ooh, I saw this one Netflix show. It was called. Was it called For Your Daughters or something, or All My Mothers or something like that? It was a
How I Met Your Mother?
No, it was a documentary about African American women from all over the United States and kind of how they grew up with their grandmothers and their mothers and the advice and all that kind of stuff. It was a really eye-opening thing. I got to look back at the thing to see what the name of it was called, but it was amazing.
Did you see that TikTok that was like, what are African American people called in other countries?
Oh, that.
And everyone was
That's sketch.
we don't call them African anything. Like, they're just wherever you're from.
Yeah,
We're just the racist ass country that's like,
we really are. It's the racism for me.
It is the racism for me. It's just in everything,
Yeah, I don't know that I would want to know what other people in other countries call us.
No, they were saying in other countries, like, you just call the person by where they're from. You don't call them, you're not an African American. You're just a person from blah, 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 or
From 18th Street.
Yeah, exactly. Like that kind of shit.
Yeah, gotcha.
I just watched Woman in the Window, which is that movie with Amy Adams on Netflix.
Oh, yeah,
where she's
isn't it-
agoraphobic and she's stuck inside her house, but she sees some shit pop off outside.
Have you ever seen Rear Window?
Yes.
From back in the day?
This is just like 2021's Rear Window.
Yeah, that's cool.
But let me fucking tell you, I don't know if so I've never met Amy Adams in person.
Yeah.
I would assume she's just so beautiful that they make her look like shit in every movie she's in.
Yeah.
But the last two movies I've seen her in, she looks like complete shit. But even when they try to make her look like shit, she still looks pretty good. So I'm like, this has to be something. But it was very interesting. It was like, what the fuck is going on? And it just made me, every time I watch a movie like this, it's like when I watched Gone Girl, when I watched Invisible Man, when I watch shit where like people make women think they're crazy, and the more you try to tell people you're not crazy, the crazier you seem.
Yeah.
I'm just like, what kind of protocol do I need to set up in my life to my close friends and family where I'm like, listen, I'm pulling this card where I seem crazy, but I know I'm not fucking crazy. Please don't commit me. Let's go on a journey.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know what that is, because you can just see it unfolding. The more you try to fucking tell people you're not crazy, the more insane you sound.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, that was a good one. It had some twists and turns. It had me at the end. Would I watch it again? Probably not. It gave me anxiety.
Yeah, I don't know that I want to watch that, and I'm already paranoid and got guns everywhere, so nah.
It was not gory, but it just like showed more violence than I thought.
In Our Mother's Garden. That's the name of the thing. In Our Mother's Garden. That's the movie I was talking about. That was a really good docuseries. Anyway, so back to Modern Day Rear Window. Sorry.
Modern Day Rear Window.
Because it was going to annoy me if I didn't figure it out.
No, it just showed more like, you know, when you go to stab someone or something crazy,
Ooh.
and you just see the like knife go into someone and that's it. This would show like it actually entering and tearing out in the sounds.
Oh,
it was a little much for me, but it was good. It was also interesting because this isn't a spoiler, but she is a psychologist who's talking to a psychiatrist.
Oh, okay.
And I'm just like, how is that?
They need them too.
I know they do, but just like, do you
Look at me? I need physical therapy. I'm a physical therapist.
Do you just see through their bullshit? Like, do you just know how they're talking to you?
No, I think because when you put yourself in another, like even when we have patients who are medical professionals, your sense of knowledge is clouded to a degree because now you are the patient. And it's just like, even when people like nurses go through labor and they may be nurses and all your medical knowledge goes out of the window when it's you. It all goes out of the window.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hot take.
Yeah. But I think too, you know that something's off and something's wrong because you're so busy fixing everybody else. I would be remiss to say that psychologists probably have the most things to talk about with another psychologist because people are literally, you get paid for people to dump on you all day, every day, and to fix them, and you have nobody to pour back into you.
My thing with that is like, you know how when a therapist, psychologist, whatever is talking to you, but they're giving you leading questions or statements, but there's no like in it. None of them, no pro or con. It's like a very open, neutral, like open-ended neutral statement. How? I couldn't do it.
It's the same way with us when we manipulate our patients.
I know, but I'm just thinking I'd be like, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Or like how, you know, I like to interrupt people and jump into shit. I would be like, actually, da-da-da-da-da-da, but they're just like, oh, and how?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
That's why half the time they're doodling on their little pad or whatever, and you're just like, what are you writing down, doc? Oh, nothing. My grocery list
is crazy.
They're like, oh, I need eggs. I need cereal. You're like, damn, you're not even listening. Jeez.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. But yeah, it was good. It was
good.
You should watch it.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to try to binge some stuff this weekend.
Lock your doors.
Ma'am, my doors are always locked.
That's good.
There's always a gun that's less than 6 feet away from me at all times.
Yeah, that's all I've watched. Quiet Place 2 is coming out. Yes! I have no idea what it's about. I watched the first one. Let me tell you why I don't want to watch the second one.
I love that. Oh, it's so sad.
Why did you love it?
Because it's apocalyptic.
You're such a weirdo. Dude, when they're drowning in that corn in the silo.
Yeah.
Wasn't for me. I don't like drowning shit. Second of all, when she steps on that fucking nail.
Girl.
Not for me. Don't like that shit.
But did you see the amount of power that this woman displayed? Woo. That women are powerful people. The fact that this lady was in labor and stepped on that nail had to be at least 4 inches long.
Yeah, it was.
And the fact that she still delivered the baby in a fucking bathtub with a creature above her head with a fucking bum foot. You can't tell me women ain't badass. You cannot tell me that.
I won't tell you that.
That's right.
What is the second one about?
The second one is basically about the aftermath, because remember in the first one, the creature came out or whatever, and the kids were stuck in the car. And so the dad sacrificed himself by yelling to save his kids. And it's kind of going backward and jumping around a bit because they're talking about, or they're going to show how it all actually started. So where their lives were in the beginning, how the creature all started, how they kind of built it from the ground up with regard to trying to survive. And then...
So a prequel. It's
a prequel, but then it's an ending as well too, because now they're left with the aftermath of, she now has this baby. She has these 3 kids that she has to fend for, because remember the other little kid, he died with a little stupid airplane because she gave him the fucking batteries. And I'm like, oh, the deaf sister would give him the fucking batteries to turn it on, and the little kid died. Anyway, but I'm telling you, little kids always gonna fuck you up. So always kill the little kids. Just always get rid of them.
First things first, get rid of the babies.
Get rid of the babies. They're gonna call, if you want to use them as bait, you can use them as bait, but you're just gonna have to detach yourself from the babies. Let them go first. Anyway, so
Greg Abbott that shit. Or no, that'd be opposite of.
That'd be opposite of Greg Abbott. Yes, anti-Greg Abbott. But yeah, so this one is the aftermath of it, and I think the home was probably more than likely destroyed, or they have to leave the home, and they find this. Yeah, and then they find this one guy because they go into this little field area, and maybe he helps them. What it alludes to is that he now helps them to be able to survive all together.
So you're telling me the best part of that movie, John Krasinski, isn't even in that movie?
No, he isn't it.
Oh,
because they do the prequel. They go back to say how it all started. So he's still in it.
Now, and
he directs it.
I was just gonna say, did he write it or
he wrote it?
He wrote it, right?
He wrote it and directed
that's why she was in it too, and then he directed it.
Yeah.
What a fucked up mind. Love it.
Yeah. And even for a couple, keep the money in the house.
Truly.
So that's amazing. All right, you ready to go over to the rehab corner? Oh, Cruella DeVille. Wait a minute. Cruella DeVille comes out this weekend too.
I want to see it.
Yeah,
Please
me too.
Don't see it without me.
Okay, we won't. We'll wait till you get back.
We'll see it together, and then we'll talk about it on the pod.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Cool beans.
Rehab corner. They tried to make me go to rehab. I said,
go, go, go.
Hey, yes, I've been bad, but when I come back, you
go, go, go. Get your ass in that corner.
Hey, welcome to the rehab corner, everybody. Case management, I can't with you. I'm done with you. I know that you're very important in the hospital, but I'm taking a break from you mentally and I'm detaching. I can't really do that, but I'm going to try.
So, that little tangent that Fowler went off on, basically we're talking about the dysfunctional relationship between rehab therapists, particularly PTOT, and case management. And for those people who don't know what case management is, case managers are basically nurses who are no longer on the floor. Okay, that was really evil sounding. They're nurses that are no longer on the floor that basically help with efficiency in the hospital of placing a patient where they need to be and offering services. So some people may confuse social workers with case managers. Social workers a lot of times are non-clinical professionals who can help services. Stop moving your microphone.
Sorry.
Who help find different services for patients that if they need equipment or if they need APS cases or services, whatever. I mean, social workers do so many different things in the hospital, but the case managers are the medical professionals because they were nurses, so they understand the meds, they understand the progression of diseases, the physiology, all that kind of good stuff, right? The biggest problem that we have with case managers, especially nowadays, is that for some reason, someone or some entity have made them believe without a shadow of a doubt that they drive discharge in the hospital.
Which is funny because how many times do you hear, hey, this person needs an OTPT eval and recommendation so I can send them somewhere.
Exactly.
Which makes me believe that we drive
right
dispo.
And I think the biggest issue that we have, not just in our hospital, but in every hospital, just the professions in general, is that sometimes case management does not work collaboratively with the rehab departments, because their bosses are the chief financial officers. And the CFOs are like, you're keeping these people in this hospital too long, and we need to get new people in here to keep this money chain going, right? That's their only agenda, is to make the money or to find the money. And case management is directly responsible for ensuring that people are discharged with regard to the recommendations that rehab has given them, and with their insurances, plus that they are medically stable from the medical team to be able to go home or go wherever they need to go, and that they set that up because they're the third party between it. But a lot of times
that ain't got to do with me.
Exactly. But the problem is that case managers are getting in this mode of, well, no, I decide where they go because of your notes. And I'm like, I'm sorry. If you have to decide where they go based off what I have done, that means that you're not the decision maker.
Correct.
And there's been this culture of case managers telling rehab therapists, well, you don't drive disposition. We drive disposition. And you don't make recommendations, which is literally the description of what the fuck I do.
My entire job, the first day I meet a patient, is to go into the room, ask
Exactly.
them questions, do my assessment, and tell them whether or not they will need to go to fucking rehab.
And give them a recommendation.
Give them a recommendation for discharging from the
Can
hospital.
you imagine if you went to a doctor and you were like, "Oh, doc, I got this pain, man. What am I gonna do for this pain?" Well, yeah, let me go ahead and examine you and do an evaluation and treat you and all this
so
other
we have all the
stuff.
scans.
But I don't have a
all your blood
recommendation.
work. So what are you gonna do about it?
Well, let's talk to case management who hasn't touched you.
Yeah.
Like, to me, I had this issue with this one case manager who no longer works at our hospital, and she basically was a rabid animal. I felt like a lot of times because she just didn't understand where people were coming from, because she had a responsibility from, or she had pushback from the CFO to be able to get these people out of the hospital so quickly. But you're sending them to the wrong place, and she always thought whatever she wanted for the patient was the best. Well, their insurance is this and their insurance is that, because depending on what type of insurance you have, you can't get into certain facilities. Like, this is why you really need to check your insurance and what your insurance entails and the details of it, because you just never know, and the benefits that you have. And so the problem is that she just kept, the easy thing is just to send them to a long-term care facility and a long-term care. And we thought she was getting kickbacks at one point.
She had to, dude. The bun cakes were flowing.
They really were. And she just kept trying. People who are walking functional, they need to go to an LTAC. They need to go to long-term care. We're like, no, fucking no, bitch.
For the people at home, when we go in and see you, we ask you, hey, before you got to the hospital, were you able to get up and fucking walk on your own or not? Then we see how you're walking in the hospital. Then we say where we think you should go at this point. You're either going home if you're fucking doing great, or you're doing the exact same you were when you got here. Mm-hmm. You can go to an LTAC, which is long-term care.
Yeah.
What?
Long-term care or long-term acute care?
Long-term acute care.
And it's spelled LTAC.
Yeah. When you're not as stable medically, you still need some help.
Yeah.
You're going to get a little therapy.
Mm-hmm. In a skilled nursing facility.
And there's a skilled nursing facility, which
not to be mistaken with a nursing home.
Which is not a nursing home.
Even though they do have them attached, but that's not what you're there for.
It's a place where you go and you can still get a little bit of therapy.
Low-level therapy.
Low-level therapy, nothing too intense. You gotta, you're just, you're not ready to go to acute rehab.
Right.
Acute rehab, 3 hours a day of PT, OT, maybe speech. You are up, you're taking showers, you're working out in the gym, you
high
are
intensity.
Fucking hitting it hard to go home.
Hit
right?
cardio.
That's what everybody wants to do. If you're not ready to go home, you ideally want to be in an inpatient rehab so they can get your ass kicked by therapy, and then you can get strong enough to go home.
Absolutely. But I think there's this culture of, because there's so much push from chief financial officers to get these people out of here, they don't care where the fuck these people go. No. And evidence-based practice, and I can pull a million articles out of my ass, and you can go to EBSCO host and whatever, that literally shows that when you do not listen to physical and occupational therapy and speech therapy recommendations, you significantly increase your readmission rates in your hospitals. Because here's the thing, how can I think it's the audacity for me. How do you as a case manager literally never touch this patient? You never physically touch them. You go asking the same questions that we ask, and you never put your hands on these people, but somehow you drive disposition? As opposed to, but not all case managers are like that, and not all healthcare systems are like that. But in the hospital setting, I know that what our one case manager in our CVICU, she replaced the other one, and it has been oh my God, we love her, everything about her,
because it's never a tell, it's a
collaboration.
It's a collaboration, and ask, can we please work harder to get this person here? This person doesn't have insurance, we need to get them there.
Absolutely.
They're not going to get covered for this. How can we make it happen?
Right. And even she'll tell us if we say ARU absolutely for this patient, inpatient rehab, high intensity, and she's like, well, they have Humana. Humana is known to not pay for patients to go to inpatient rehab unless other extenuating circumstances. And then we have to collaboratively think, okay, let's see if we can up our therapy with them so we can get them a lot stronger, a lot quicker, blah, blah, blah. But then you have some of these other case managers, even like yesterday we had a situation where, or this week, myself and Alyssa actually evaluated this one patient who she was pretty much chair bound, recliner bound.
Let me tell you, we'll start from the start. We're both chart reviewing this lady at the same time. I hear Monty say, Hoyer, chairbound, hasn't been walking. And as she's saying that, I look at the number. I said, 340 pounds.
And then I look at the height and I'm like, 5'2"? Bitch, no.
And
No.
then she reads the nurse's note, 5-person assist from bed to chair. I
Yes.
said, you have got to be kidding me. Because if you are a 5-person assist, what the fuck are you doing up in the chair? That is not safe.
Yeah, but she can't breathe because she has too much weight in her panties. It's just not gonna work.
But I mean, 5-person assist means a Hoyer.
Yeah, absolutely, because you're gonna kill somebody. You're gonna break
Yes,
somebody's
you're gonna
back.
hurt her or hurt yourself. That makes no
Exactly.
sense to me. Why we would ever need that many people
Exactly.
to transfer someone to the chair? It's inappropriate.
Yeah, and it's not safe. You're waiting for a lawsuit. So then we go in and we see the lady. She actually does better than we thought she was going to do. We get her up. She takes steps. Blah blah blah. Alyssa and I both decide to discharge this lady from rehab services because based off of our professional expert opinion,
The one I paid $150,000 for.
exactly, we felt like nothing that she was pretty much at her baseline. She was not going to get better. Just continue what you're doing and hopefully you won't get worse, right? So we discharged the patient. Everything's fine. 3 days later, which was yesterday, I get one of the office managers comes to me and she's like, hey, Monica, you were the last person to see this patient, which I was the only therapist to see the patient, other than Alyssa. And she's like, well, yeah, the case manager is calling and saying that they want this patient reevaluated. And I'm like, for what? And she's like, well, they're trying to get the patient into rehab downstairs, which is an inpatient high intensity rehab
Which
facility.
we keep having issues with because, first of all, I don't know if y'all remember, trip down memory road, I had to work down in the inpatient rehab for 6 months. We kept getting patients who were not appropriate to be
Right.
down there. The first thing you do, your first day in inpatient rehab, you take a shower, you get dressed, you're up and around, you do a car transfer, you're doing stairs, you're walking in the gym. You have to be able to at least attempt and do all of those things. And
Yeah.
they're sending us people who haven't been up out of bed for more than 5 minutes in the last 3 weeks.
Right. And mind you, this patient literally sleeps and pretty much stays in a recliner chair that stands her all the way up. So this is not a
She
very
has
functional.
people dress her. She has
Right.
people wash her. She doesn't do a lot.
She doesn't. The only thing she does for herself mostly is feed herself, and she can stand pivot, to little areas and stuff like that.
Which is what we saw her do
Exactly.
on the eval.
So
And my
she-
thing is always asking, how long have you needed this much assist? And if you
Right.
tell me over a year, unless you have some crazy story like you have
Exactly.
myasthenia gravis and it fucking wax and wanes.
Right.
After a year, this is your new baseline.
Exactly.
This is not an acute care problem.
No, exactly. And so, we basically had this. So the office manager tells me about the fact that this case manager keeps putting in orders, which I don't even think that case manager should even be allowed to put in PTOT orders, but that's neither here nor there. So she keeps putting in new orders to say, hey, come back and reevaluate. But the office managers already know we discharged this lady. So they're just tossing the orders in the garbage. I mean, in the shredder, it's not important. So then finally she keeps calling. And then I talked to the office manager and she's like, Monica, can you just call? And I said, sure, I'll call her. I called this case manager, y'all, and the lady would not even let me get a word in
Yo, it was
edgewise.
bad.
And y'all think I talk fast? No. This lady was just like, and I don't understand why y'all just can't come back and reevaluate her because the daughter's really upset and she wants the patient to be going to rehab, blah, blah, blah. And then the doctors are saying this and the doctors are saying that.
Wait, you be her and then I'll be you. Ready? You start talking.
So basically, I
Lady?
need you need
Miss
to go
Lady.
ahead and see her.
Miss Lady? Okay, Miss Lady. Miss Lady. She wouldn't stop.
She
for
would not stop.
And she was just saying the same thing. I don't understand why the orders are getting seen. That was 3. And we kept saying, you kept saying, she is at her functional baseline. Well, that was 3 days ago. She's lost 30 pounds. First of
Right.
all.
And she hasn't lost 30 pounds. She's not a
there's
doctor
no
now
way
patient.
she's lost 30
No.
pounds. That was 3 days ago. That was 3 days ago.
But even I think the biggest thing that kind of really irritated me was the lack of respect for my professional expert opinion based off of my evaluation and my examination. Would you go and tell an MD or someone else, well, your interpretation of this was wrong. It was 3 days ago.
you said they needed this surgery, but they need this surgery.
Did you go to PT school? Did you go to OT school? What the heck? You don't even know what the fuck you're looking at to determine whether or not this patient is safe or whatever the case may be. And so I told her, I said, even though it's been 3 days, this woman has been like this for a while. Okay, more than a year. That is not going to change at this point. And so then I told her, I said, listen, I'll call the doctors, I'll call their team, and I'll talk to them to see what's actually going on. I called the nurse practitioner. I'm like, hey girl, how you doing? So this case manager said, you said X, Y, and Z, that y'all are just up in arms, pissed about PT and OT. You know what the nurse practitioner says?
Who?
I've never even talked to this case manager. What is she talking about? There's no way she would qualify for ARU, for going to inpatient rehab, because she's not mobile. And I believe she's at her baseline. I mean, so I asked her, I said, does the daughter just need a break? Is that why she wants her to go to rehab, because she's tired of taking care of her? Because again, healthcare burden, caregiver burden, I totally get it. But that was not the case. And so then the person who was chosen to be the director of our department, because I don't formally acknowledge her. Anyway, they basically come in the office along with my other supervisor, and they're like, hey, so what's going on with this situation? So we explain the situation.
When I tell you, this lady escalated it to the nth degree.
Yeah. And then too, another supervisor had already supposedly talked to this woman and told her, I agree with what the therapist did. I would have done the same exact thing. The patient is not appropriate for our services. She's at her baseline. There's really nothing we can do.
We correctly I can't tell you how many times in that evaluation it said patient was at this level before. She says she did this, and this. This is exactly what we saw. She is at her functional baseline.
And I think because they think we maintain function, and we don't.
No,
here's the thing about
acute care.
No, here's the thing about not even in any setting. Here's the thing about PT and OT. The way you get paid is progression.
True.
We do not maintain anything. Even when you see some of these videos on YouTube of these people who have gotten shot and their spinal cord injuries, and in the hospital they could barely move, and then like 2 years later they can now walk. That was progression.
Because once you plateau, insurance is not paying for your shit.
No, and once you plateau, you're gonna have to do something drastic in order to restart your engine to be able to start progressing again. Because rehab works the same as trying to lose weight and going on a diet. You're going to hit a plateau at some point, and the plateau may hit quicker than you expect it to. And so this case manager was just belligerent and just like a rabid dog. Just kept, well, the doctors are saying this and da-da-da-da. And then all of a sudden, the very next day, the office manager comes back to me and she's like, yeah, so basically I want to show you something. And I'm like, okay, cool. You know what she shows me? That the new order that the case manager put in, the same doctor who put it in before canceled her order and was like, we get it. We read the notes. The patient doesn't need y'all. They're at their baseline.
It is insane. But also, all you have to do is this specific case manager never asked. She's the one who will come out of pocket. Well, PT said this, or PT said rehab, but y'all said home health. So what is it? Y'all need to get together and change it.
And I need your note now. You need to get in there and you need to do that. I'm sorry. Who the fuck are you talking to?
And then since passive aggressive emojis, which is really the icing on the cake for me, but
she's weird.
All you have to do is say, hey, I know you said home because she's at her baseline, but family is wanting this, or doctors are saying this. Right. So what's up? What can we do? Are they appropriate for this? Can we do this?
Yeah. And even to ask what our opinion is, because even you have some patients who are very functional to a degree, but they need to be on antibiotics and they can't go home because their insurance won't cover it. But you know what we can say? Go ahead and put them in a skilled nursing facility because they're mobile. So they're going to get up with rehab. But if you waste their inpatient rehab days, which most insurances only give 21 days of inpatient rehab, it is May. And if these people are already in the hospital in May, imagine what could happen in December. And then they've run out of their rehab days because you're just trying to get these people out of here because the CFO won't get off your ass.
Well, you catch more flies with honey than vinegar, right?
Exactly.
So there's a lot of times too where people may not be inpatient rehab appropriate, right, but we cannot fucking send them to a SNF because they'll sit there
and they'll rot.
So that's where we're like, hey, give us a couple days. We're going to try to do what we can. We're going to try to get them to inpatient rehab.
Absolutely.
We'll work very hard. They're not there right now, but we can do it. And I think if they're there for a couple of days, they'll make it.
Yeah. And even too, sometimes we'll talk to the physicians as well and say, hey, delay their discharge a couple more days to let us work with them so we can get them, moving a little bit better so they'll get accepted into rehab. And sometimes they'll do that, and it's not illegal to do that. Yeah. It's just like there's still a medical necessity of a particular discipline to still be there. But this idea and this notion that case management only drives disposition and they're the only people, like I think we're privileged enough to have, honestly, majority of the case managers that we work with at our hospital. I would say probably 95% of these case managers are amazing. They are very collaborative. They ask, so what are you thinking? What do you think are they good to go home? What are you thinking? They're literally asking you your professional expert opinion. And then you have that other 5% that's just like, well, I already put in a rec for rehab and I'm going to put on my note home health. So when you send it to that insurance company, and if they get denied, that's on you, because I told you I'm making my recommendation based off facts.
Which is what I was always told when I was fucking in school and when I was in field work. Your name's on that documentation.
Exactly.
And if you say that they need to go somewhere, you better be able to back that shit up, because if not, it's fraud.
Exactly. And my thing is, do not ask me to change my recommendation when I literally made it off facts at the time I was with them. Now, clearly, we can always change it as the patient progresses and does a lot better, but I am not changing my recommendation to accommodate you getting them out of here quick because you need the fucking bed.
Yeah.
You're out of your
my same
goddamn
thing.
mind.
TAVR Tuesday, TAVR Thursday, where they're like, hey, you saw this person, they have discharge orders. Can they go home today? And I said, no. They couldn't even get out of the bed.
No.
They need to go. Well, we have orders for them to go home today. I don't care what you have.
And when they end up in the ER at 8 o'clock tonight because they have a hematoma or I'm sorry, a hemorrhage because they fell and bust their head open, don't say I didn't tell you that their asses need to go to fucking rehab, you dummy.
My sole job is to provide quality care to these patients,
right,
and to tell you where the fuck they need to go on discharge.
Exactly. I remember I had a case manager tell me once when I first started working at our job, and she was a case manager. She no longer works there. See a trend anyway. And they based our office for some odd reason make accommodations for this lady, maybe because she had been there for very many years. Who cares? Anyway, she ended up liking me in the end before she left. Anywho, so the very first time I met her, I went in and I saw this patient, did my evaluation, gathered all my facts, okay? And I told the lady, her and her husband, I said, yeah, I think that definitely that you're safe to go back home with your husband once the doctors medically clear you. Not sure when that's going to be, but I definitely think that you're going to be good to go back home. She said, I said, just use your walker. You got your back brace, blah, blah, blah. The case manager comes out and she says to me, did you see the patient in so-and-so? I was like, yeah, she's definitely good to go home. Just want to let you know my recommendation. My recommendation is definitely home health PT. She's good. And so she's like, oh, okay, So then she just walks away from me like awkwardly and then goes in the room. She comes back out and she was like, did you tell the patient that she can go home? And I said, I'm sorry, is this a joke? Like, let's try this again. Ring, ring, ring. Hi, I'm Monica from therapy. Who are you? And so she's like, you do not make recommendations. That is not your job.
My literal job.
When I tell you I wrote that lady up so fast, like literally had to have a conference with her boss, my boss. I was like, who the fuck do you think you're talking to, lady? Like, do you understand who the hell you're talking to? I am an independently licensed clinician who literally just did an evaluation and gave you my recommendation. And you telling me what my job description is? Raise your hand if you're a PT. Oh, your hand's still down, bitch. Shut the fuck up. I couldn't believe the amount of just disrespect this lady was spewing out of her pores and was like, you don't make recommendations. And I literally said to her when I had the meeting, I said, can you read this description for me? This is per American Physical Therapy Association guidelines. Tell me what my job description is based off this. I don't know if you just came up in your brain about what the fuck you think therapy is, but I can guarantee you don't know what the fuck I do. Because if you did, you would have never said no dumbass shit like that. I sure did. I wrote her ass right on up.
It's this for me. How many times a day do we hear, hey, I need you to see this patient because they need a therapy recommendation to discharge?
Thank you.
Which tells me
you don't drive dispo.
You don't drive dispo because you're freaking out and calling us all the time.
And if the insurance is like, well, what did therapy say? If the insurance is asking you what the fuck we say, you clearly are not the driver of this motherfucking bus. You a passenger just like our asses. Okay? And you ain't in the window.
But their job is to figure it out.
Exactly.
My job is just to tell you what I saw, what would be safest for the patient, what would benefit them.
And also,
don't come at me crazy because you don't like what I said.
And your job is to collaborate with us. If we're telling you the patient is good to go to ARU and you're like, hey, I know that you said they're good to go, but they don't have any insurance. Perfect. Now we can go back to the drawing board, figure out what we can do as a department to help this patient get better. But it is not for you to tell us what to do, and it is not for us to tell you what to do. We're literally giving you a recommendation based off of an evaluation with examination, prognosis, diagnosis. That's palpation at the bare minimum.
And with this specific patient, she moves at home with a lot of help from equipment. She sleeps in a recliner chair because she can't get up from a bed. That chair lifts her up completely until she's on her feet almost, right?
Yeah.
So that she can stand. Because if not, she is a 3-4 person assist.
She's probably going to be bedridden.
So what you're telling me is you would like me to put my body and potentially her body in danger.
Yeah.
to keep seeing her when she will not benefit from these services.
Right. And then the kicker was, she said, well, yeah, I put in another order, so y'all might want to bring 2 or 3 people because she's going to need 2 or 3
bitch,
people.
You're going to be one of them. You're transferring her. Are you fucking kidding me?
I and then we even had, today I was talking to our former coworker, Queentha, and she was talking about the hospital that she currently works at. That's not in the city of San Antonio. And they basically have changed their way of collaboration with case management system wide, where they are basically telling PT and OT, you no longer get to recommend what you want. You have to do this particular examination or this particular test, which is 6 clicks or, Boston AMPAC, to look at the level of disability of this patient. And based off that score, case management then decides where they go. So they're basically trialing this new thing. And then she's like, she said the day that they trialed it and they did not make a recommendation, it was some like subdural hematoma patient or TBI patient or something like that. Something happened. The patient, the case management says, well, based off this, we're going to send him home. Sent the patient home. The patient fell, came back to the hospital, and now they're in litigation with the hospital.
As they should be.
As they should be.
Because here's my thing. This is such a layered process, right? And how many times do y'all say people should go home and we say they shouldn't?
Yeah.
And how many times does OT say, they're probably good, and y'all are like, no, they're not.
Exactly.
Because we're both looking at different things, but also it's a culmination of things, right? You can be functional, you can be up and walking, but you're walking into walls.
Exactly.
Or you forget where you are, or you get up and walk without your walker.
Right.
Shit like that.
Yeah.
So functionally, you may be okay, but you cannot go home.
No, you're not safe.
You're not safe to go home.
And if you're not safe to go, and here's what I really want people to understand too. When people are discharged from the hospital, what you are telling insurance, what you are telling that patient and their family is that they are medically stable to return back to their lives. What happens is that if you are prematurely sending people out of these hospitals and you're sending them to the wrong facilities, what happens is that if that patient is readmitted for any reason, the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, aka CMS, will now tell the hospital, bitch, we not paying for this shit. This is your fault. It's because like you prematurely
your
discharged
car to get
them.
Fixed, and they give it to you early instead of running around the block one time and making sure it's fixed. And when you bring it back, you're saying, I'm not fucking paying for it.
Absolutely.
You fix it again.
And the more readmissions you have as a hospital, the more fines you get, which means you can't have all these credits to be able to be in the black in the beginning of the year. So if you keep getting so many dings, CMS, the Center of Medicare and Medicaid Services, can shut your hospital down because you're unsafe.
And that's what I feel like that's what we've always been told. That's what we've always done. If you do not feel like this patient can go home.
That's literally how it is.
That is. If this patient cannot go home today and you are not 100% sure that they can be safe to do all the things that they need to do, you are not recommending home. Or you're recommending home with supervision.
And I think people have to understand, I think case management has to understand too, we make that split second, we literally make that decision in a split second with our level of, that should show you how smart and how much we do know and how much of an expert we are at what the fuck we do, that I can go in a room for a patient for 8 minutes and literally look at you and tell you exactly where you need to go and be safe. And it's been proven that it works over time because, again, research has already shown the more you do not listen to PT, OT, and speech recommendations, the greater your readmission rates are going to be, which means you're losing money as a hospital and you're giving out free health care. And Bernie Sanders is getting what he wants.
Really? This is all for Bernie?
It's all for Bernie.
I know that there's a lot of pressure on a lot of people for different reasons in the hospital.
Yeah.
And that we are always in a surge, right? We're trying to get people out because we're just a rotating door.
Yeah.
But don't come for me.
No.
Don't come for me.
Argentina.
That's cry for me. But
it really is.
I'm just like, I said what I said.
Seriously, and I'm not gonna have to say it again. And like I said, this is a small subset of people, but it's everywhere you go because they make it a big issue. And even one of the managers of case management even said, when I was in a meeting with her with the other woman who no longer works here, and she was like,
Monica stays getting people fired.
No, I don't. I promise you, I don't. I don't get anybody fired. That is not my zhuzh. I don't play with nobody's livelihood. In the name of Jesus.
Amen.
I won't say that. Amen. But I was talking to her and she said, this is what's handed down from corporate. We drive Dispo. And I looked at her and I wanted to say so bad, but my director was sitting right there, the only one that I acknowledge. And I said to, and I wanted to say to her so bad, who are the people from corporate? Are these medical professionals? Specifically, are they PTs, OTs, and or speech therapists? Because if they're not, I don't really care what they say because the research trumps what you are saying. And you're proving our point that when you don't listen to us, you're going to lose a shit ton of money.
We don't make money for the hospital, but y'all
we damn sure keep it in your pocket.
Exactly. But y'all stay needing us and needing our recommendations, which to me says that it means something.
It's the begging for me. It's the begging for my notes for me. I don't understand how I'm so
as
insignificant.
As soon as you press me for a fucking note, guess what's the last note that I'm going to write that day?
one. It's the begging for me, and it's the unrealistic expectations that you sit here and tell me all day how insignificant my recommendations are. But it's the begging for me, boo. You cannot move without my recommendation.
They can't half the time even return to a sniff without a cog eval from PTOT.
Exactly. Well, I just need your note just to get them back in. Well, I thought you drove Dispo, baby. You write it. Since you got so much power, case manager, and I'm talking about the rude case managers. I ain't talking about the nice ones.
Listen, there's some really good ones. There's some really nice ones.
Like I said, I honestly believe that 95, I would even say 97% of our case managers at our hospital are so lovely. They are collaborative. They are just gems, and we love them because they get what we do. But it's that 3% that loves to just act a ass and just want to be more important than they think they are, and they want to be more important than the team.
I'm just like, you are playing with people's lives because most of the time you're sending someone to rehab who needs to go home and be in their own home environment and doesn't need to be in a hospital anymore because you're just subjecting them to all these other things. Or
the daughter's going on vacation, so they need to go to ARU.
Oh, that's my fucking favorite. No, they need to go home. Or it's someone who's inappropriate to go somewhere, but they just want them there anywhere. No, it's unsafe. We're not going to do that.
It's not a babysitter situation. You're wasting people. Well, they can use their rehab days if they want to. You're absolutely right. They can use their rehab days. But what we're not going to do is foster this culture of screwing people over and then they get stuck in sniffs when something really happens.
Because guess what? You're in the room for a little bit with them, you talk, and then you're behind the scenes talking to insurance and shit. I'm in this room touching on them, moving them, sweating with them, hearing them talk about their daughter they haven't talked to in 3 months, but they're so scared they want to call. That's my fucking job.
Absolutely.
So don't come play with my patients.
Yeah, it's the lack of collaboration for me. So for all you case managers out there, thank you to the ones who are actually collaborative. Thank you. Thank you for understanding. We know that your job is not easy.
Made some great shit happen.
Yeah, you really do. Because honestly, I could not do a case manager's job because you all not only have to be responsible for the patient while you're on the floor, but you're also the determining factor, and what you say matters to make sure that this patient gets either accepted or rejected. And you are you're an amazing gatekeeper. But for those 3% case managers who want to act an ass and you think you're more important than the team, fuck you.
I could not be a case manager. Dealing with all of us, all PTOT speech, hell no.
I understand why they hate us.
I do too.
I absolutely
Especially
do.
My favorite is when, so you know how there's some really, really great PTs and there's some really, really great OTs and then there's some mediocre children of God and whatever.
Very true.
My favorite is when our discharge recommendations differ and I will always refuse to change mine if I know that the person who did the other eval like always says some crazy ass shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm not changing it. No. Sorry.
And they'll be like, can we get another set of eyes? You can waste resources all you want to.
I'm like, I don't trust that person for shit. And I said what I said.
As Nene Leakes said, I shared what I shared and I wrote what I wrote.
So on that note,
and it ain't changing.
I couldn't imagine having to deal with this because there are times where I'm like, listen, I said what I said. And that's my clinical opinion. And
then we only deal with like 1 or 2 case managers on a day-to-day basis, right? Because we may be on the same floor, but they have to trickle all these different therapists coming in on this one unit, and they're just like, well, who can you tell me who has this patient and blah blah blah, because they're not assigned on the phone. And I know, Monica, you said that they could do this and that, but then they came around and did a reeval and said X, Y, and Z.
Who did the eval? Oh, they're not here today.
Exactly. They're just like, well, what the hell? Or the PTA has been seeing them, and then they're like, okay, well, can the patient go home? And they're like, I got to discuss it with my PT. And they're like, well, why can't you tell me? But it's like, because I'm a PTA, I can't recommend. That's not what I do. No. You know, but yeah, it's insane. But again, thank you to all the case managers who are out there. Your diligence is not unseen, and we do appreciate you. But for the 3% who, again, y'all got this chip on y'all shoulder, let me tell you something. You like the people, you know what the 3% is? The 3% is like the people at Chipotle who literally will not give you an extra scoop of rice because they think the rice came out of their budget.
They're real stingy.
They're real stingy, and you just think you drive the rice boat, and you don't. Give me the rice. Just give me the goddamn rice. You didn't pay for the rice.
I'm just like, this money isn't
it's not your money.
It's not your money from the hospital. Like, you will get your check no matter what.
Exactly.
Why are we so pressed?
Because the CFO, and the thing is, the CFO is the money man. They're supposed to be on your ass, but you also are supposed to let the CFO know, listen, bitch, calm down. Until you touch a patient, shut your numbers ass up.
That's what I want to hear.
Yeah.
I just want case manager to say, hey, I know you're freaking out right now, but if we send them home, they'll be back in 2 days, and it's going to be a whole nother thing.
You're going to lose money either way. We're playing healthcare is a lose-lose. No one wins in healthcare.
No one wins when the family feuds.
Listen, let me tell you how much you lose. You come in dead, right? We alive you. Yes, I said we alive you, right? Oh my God, that's amazing. You would think it's a win for the hospital. No. It's not. You know why? Because you don't have money to get undead. Not only do you not have money to get undead, you also don't have the money to pay it back. And you're gonna be
stuck in the fucking hospital.
And now you're stuck in the hospital, and then got to go somewhere else, and we still ain't get our money. So who has really won? You gonna go bankrupt trying to pay us back, and we already broke because we gave you free healthcare. Healthcare is a losing game. Nobody wins. I don't care if you came and was risen from the dead. You still lost because you woke up in debt.
I think about that all the time, dude. Like when people code and they come in and they cannulate them and they do all the shit and they wake up and I'm like, you just woke up in so much debt.
You woke up in debt, and so you'd be like, damn, y'all shouldn't have woke me up. I remember even this one ECMO patient we had a couple years ago. They life flighted him from Corpus Christi.
Not a life flight.
They life flighted him from Corpus Christi.
That's a pretty bill.
While the man was dying in the hospital, the wife got and he had insurance. The wife got a bill from the helicopter company, okay, for $80,000.
No.
And they had already paid their portion, and that was her portion, was $80,000. She didn't even get the $1 million bill for ECMO. $80,000. This lady, oh, my husband's dying. And she opened up the mail. Bitch, what? $80,000. Kill him.
I had a patient who came to the hospital for heart shit. He Ubered from Laredo.
What?
He Ubered.
What was that Uber bill?
From Laredo.
Oh my God.
He was like, I was not going to take an ambulance. For the people who don't know
where we are, how far is Laredo from San Antonio?
Fucking hours. Far. It's like 2
hours.
2.5 hours.
Sweet lamb of God.
And he said he would rather do that than have to pay that bill.
Yeah, $80,000 to life flight for 5 minutes. You on a plane for 5 minutes.
He found an Uber that was like, okay, I'll take you.
My Lord, that's crazy. But yeah, healthcare is a losing game for all sides. Yes,
but my thing is, if we're all losing, then be nice to me and I'll be nice to you, and we can at least make it a pleasant situation.
Exactly. We're all insurance is a losing too, because you paying them a little $100 premium, and they basically the bank that's robbing Peter's benefits to pay Paul's benefits. Everybody loses in healthcare. There's no winners except for Big Pharma.
Big Pharma is a big winner.
They're the only ones that are winning. That's it. They're the only ones that are benefiting.
And the PPE companies right now.
Yeah. But Big Pharma's still winning bigger.
Yeah, always.
Yeah. So yeah, case managers, just understand. We understand what you guys are going through. Please understand what we are going through. That we are a discipline.
Lifting these heavy ass patients. Exactly. You're trying to get seen every day because you want them to go to rehab.
And we're trying to help y'all get y'all bonuses just as much as we want to get our bonuses. But if we keep having readmission rates because y'all don't want to listen to us, and y'all, here's the thing: tell the CFO to come work with us. No, I'm just saying. Like some hospitals, if you're in, like at the hospital I used to work at, when not here but in Atlanta,
where the players
when you were in, if the hospital was in the black at the end of the year, whatever they were in the black, they basically gave like a bonus to everybody.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, that's so nice.
And even when I worked in Tallahassee, when I was a CNA or nursing tech, they did the same thing. Like whenever we were in the black, they gave us a bonus.
Wow.
Yeah. So they were telling people to make sure you tell people to pay their bills.
How about if my patient discharges home and doesn't come back, I get a bonus,
Exactly.
a little kickback.
Yeah, but I mean, case management agrees because clearly they drive dispo because they so important. They are important. You are important, case management. I'm talking about the 3%. I'm not talking about the 97%.
We are. It's symbiotic. You know, we both. You need us, and we need you.
Seriously, we can't work
I'm not
without
trying
each
to call
other.
insurance. I'm not trying to
Hell
call
no.
the mother of the brother of the sister and figure out if he really did walk by himself before.
Yeah, they do a lot of mouth work, okay, which is very tiring. We do a lot of physical body work, okay, but they do the mental stuff a lot of times. So we appreciate you, case management, but the 3%, get your ass together, get your life together.
That's a PSA
That's a PSA
for the CMs.
Thank you for our TED Talk. All right, anything else we need to go over?
No, I'm good.
You're good. All right. Well, what do we want to tell the people? How do we want to give them love and light this week?
I want everyone to just close their eyes right now. Matt, did you hear my reads?
Bitch, you need to close your eyes right now because you about to go on that.
I need to go. Please do not cannulate me. Do not let that man near my groin.
I'll think about it.
Get me up though. Let's do some crazy shit.
Oh hell yeah! I don't care how
Basketball?
many groin lines you got. You get that.
I'll get myself up. I swear to God, I will.
We're gonna plank on that.
Just give me a perfusionist. I'll move myself.
Absolutely.
Someone hold my lines. I want everyone to close their eyes and just pretend that we're at the airport. I just told you, hey, congratulations. Here's 2 tickets to, where's the first place you'd go?
Bimini.
Who?
Bimini.
What the fuck is that?
The place where like the water is see through.
Trigemini?
Bimini.
Bimini.
It's an island.
Where? Islanding.
Somewhere in the island.
I think you're just making shit up.
I promise you.
She's like,
Let's
I
look at
want
it
to
right
go
now.
to
I'm serious.
Sweet Hop. I don't believe this. You're going to have to post a picture on the Instagram to prove it.
Bimini is in the westernmost district of the Bahamas and comprises of a chain of islands located about 80 kilometers due east of Miami. Bimini is the closest
So you want
point
to
in
go
the
home.
Bahamas.
What I'm hearing is you want to go home.
They might have a Publix, but I don't know. let me show you. This is literally like their water. It's so clear.
Oh, wow. It's
Bimini is beautiful. It's like absolutely beautiful.
Okay, I'll take it.
Okay, where would you go?
I don't know. I heard someone at the waxing place today talk about Bali, which sounds nice. I've also had this like little tickle for Jackson, Wyoming lately.
Yeah.
Don't know why. But yeah. I want to find like the most dopest spa in the continental US and go there.
Probably one of my friend Lori. She can probably tell you that. Her and her husband go on at least 2 trips every single year.
Really? Lori, are you smart?
Yes. Yeah, and she's actually a PT as well. Shouts out to Lori. She knows all things travel. She always traveling somewhere. Anything else?
No, that's it. I just wanted to manifest a little bit with you.
Good, awesome. That's awesome. I appreciate that.
No problem. We'll be here all week.
All right, y'all. Well, thank y'all so much for tuning in for another episode. We appreciate you guys. Don't forget to download, subscribe, and leave us a review, please. Please don't forget to leave us a review.
Leave us a review, Venmo, Cash App.
And don't forget to engage with us on Instagram and Facebook. When I ask those questions, I'm asking y'all for a reason, y'all. Come on. Help us get our analytics up, okay? Get these numbers up. Let's go. Keep
Period,
following,
poo.
share with everybody, your friends, your families, your foe, your coworkers, everybody.
Everybody.
Yeah, it's gonna be May. It's not even the same song, but I just want to do that
Goodbye.
because we're in the month of May. All right, y'all. Y'all have a great one. Ma'am, get on your job. No.
I'm having an off day. Thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of The Face Off with Fleming and Fowler. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at The Face Off Pod. Be sure to tune in to The Face Off every Tuesday where new episodes are released.